Baby, I had these high-waisted white Calvin Klein jeans.
Ooh.
And you know, I've always been curvy. I had these high, girl.
Milkshake bringing all the boys to the yard.
Yes, and they're like, it's better than yours. Okay? Damn right. It's better. And so, but like while I was in high school, I can't recall, like, only thing that was like, if you looked at me, I was just a regular old boy. But of course, I think my voice was always softer and elongated.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Queerly Blax Show. I'm your host, Ashley, and I'm so happy you came by. The Queerly Blax Show aims to normalize the everyday existence of Black, LGBTQIA+ individuals through an interview-style series with regular folks like you and me. So every week, a new guest shares their story and unique perspective on their existence as an LGBTQIA+ individual. Thank you for tuning in, and make sure you subscribe, download, set your reminders to the podcast so you never miss an episode. Enjoy the show. Welcome back to another episode of the Queerly Blax Show. I'm your host, Ashley. I'm here with Ressie G. Yes. Ressie, tell the people about yourself.
Oh, what's up, everybody? I'm Ressie G, not Cardi B, but I still get to the money. Oh my God. About me,
about you.
There's a laundry list. But I am a Atlanta native, born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia. Georgia Pete's till I die. And I'm currently residing in Dallas. I used to be a fashion stylist. I was a fashion stylist for about 11 years in Atlanta. And I had worked with all of your favorite reality stars. Then I moved to Dallas to, I guess, grow up is what I say. And I got into the world of production. And I've been a producer for the past 5, almost 6 years now. So that's kind of like a little tidbit.
All right now. So you already know how I go, man. I gotta ask, what was your first encounter with your sexuality? When did you like them boys, man?
Oh, baby, let me tell you something. So I would have to say, you know, I'm from the South. So I would have to say I really realized that I was into men my senior year of high school. Because I played football, I played tennis, I ran track, I was all of those things. And I never was like really attracted to men. It wasn't like in the forefront of my mind. But then I noticed like when I started to come into my own and started to feel like, oh, I'm gonna get ready to go to college and all those things, I started attracting men. And I was like, well, wait a minute. Because I had maybe 3 or 4 girlfriends or 3 or 4 girls that I dated in school. And they always cheated on me. So I was like, something isn't right. Like, I know it's not me and it's definitely them, but I was like, well, maybe.
Can't be me. There's nothing wrong with me.
Can't be me. It just can't be me.
Definitely not. I'm not giving off nothing on this side. It is not me.
Perfect. I am perfect. And then I started to attract men. I was like, well, maybe I'm gay. Maybe this is a thing. And so I started to explore my options. And honey, there was a plethora of options. Mm-hmm. And so I remember my first encounter with a man sexually. It was a learning experience, I would have to say.
Was he older?
But he was older. So at the time, I was 19 and he had to be like mid-30s. And he taught me how to do some things. So I had to make sure that I continued to grow. And plus I'm a Scorpio, so you know, I have a reputation to uphold and to live up to.
I know that's right.
Listen, so I had to make sure when
we gonna get this right, or we gonna fake it till we make it, one of the two, but we gonna do this thing the right way.
Period. Because I was like, listen, this thing, girl, I have to make sure that once I do all of this, I have to do it the right way. And then I came into my own, and then I began to really figure out in the spectrum where my place was. And so I think that it took me probably maybe 2 years to really figure it out. But once I figured it out, honey, I ran head first and just kept running. So,
because I'm out.
Okay, I'm out here.
Track star.
Okay, she don't run away when it gets hard. When it gets hard, you gotta do the right thing with it. Okay. And I'm a Georgia peach, and Scorpio, honey, you can never run from it. Never.
I cannot. So you telling me, okay? So you was an athlete. You played all these sports.
Yes.
Track. Football.
Right.
Y'all changing clothes together in them locker rooms.
Mm-hmm.
And you ain't like boys till you was a senior.
I promise you I didn't. So I played football once I got into high school. So my freshman all the way up to my senior year. And I always would look at my brothers as my teammates.
Mm-hmm.
But then I can remember when we went to football camp at this school over the summer, you know, we would have to team up with the other teams, and one guy was stretching me. And now that I think about it, I wish he could have stretched me in a different way. But he was stretching me, and he was like, "Oh, so you
gonna just cut up today? All right."
I mean, I gotta give you all of me, okay? And so he was stretching me, and he was like, "Oh, so you one of them flexible ones, huh?" And I said, "Yeah," but I missed it. It just went straight, and he was fine too. And I was just like, if I had the chance to be a senior again, I'd be. Listen,
you want one stretch again. You like, I want to stretch one more time with you.
That one stretch. But then it never dawned on me until my senior year high school, like, I guess, best friend. Mm-hmm. He actually introduced me to my best friend to this day, and we've been close for almost like 13, 14 years. But like, it was so crazy because I guess he kind of helped me come into my own too. And I just it never dawned on me that, you gay, you can have a boyfriend right now. And I'm just like, girl, I don't know what this is giving.
How that work?
Okay, how that work? But yeah, like, I mean, now when I look back at some of the guys that are still kind of in shape and still pulled together that I play ball with, I'm just like, I wish I could just jump your bones one time right about now. But like, while I was in school, it just never crossed my mind.
Mm-hmm. You just focused on your
now. Granted, when you running track and the boys got on them tight, and they are blessed in the prestigious areas, of course you're gonna look. But I was looking because everybody else was looking. Mm-hmm. But then nowadays I be looking because I want to look.
You want to look.
So I want to look. So, it's like things have changed.
We've evolved. We
have evolved. Yes,
so when you were high school, how'd you dress?
Oh my God. Jeez. So I've always been feminine. Mm-hmm. I've always been feminine. I always have had a feminine side. And my dad embraced my feminine side. My mom was like, I mean, you do you. And she embraced it in a different way than my dad did. But I was like, I'm from Atlanta, so you got Air Force Ones. Mm-hmm. I wear polo. I was given Iniche. Mm-hmm. I was the one, you remember back in the 90s or early 2000s when you would wear the shirt that was one color and then you put the collar shirt
underneath it. And it had a collar standing straight up.
Listen, I was that guy.
Everybody's gonna see that collar.
Listen, I had an S curl, then I had the matching polo shoes because of a polo. Like, I was that guy. My senior year, I was that guy. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, when I look back on those pictures now, I was like, girl, what was I thinking?
You really had money if you rocked two polos.
Listen.
You was really that's two outfits because that's two different outfits.
That's two different outfits at one time. And so I had the polo t-shirt and then I had the polo collar shirt.
Mm-hmm. He got money.
Okay. But I had my little job at Taco Bell. Mm-hmm. I was just, all I was doing was just shopping. Mm-hmm. So, don't let me get the matching color shoes.
Oh, it's over.
I remember my senior year high school picture. I had on this like royal blue polo t-shirt and it had the orange, polo horse. I had the polo shirt that was orange to match the horse. I wore these jean Iniche shorts, and the shoes that I had on was the blue with the orange. I was over. It was over. Listen, it's over. It was done. It's over for you, girl.
It's over.
Over.
When you got it all coordinated, because that's like, when you shop on a clearance, you got to just get whatever they got. They might have a blue shirt with the orange horse and the orange shirt with the green or something. Some other is going, but when it's all matching, you like, oh, you spent money on that. You did that.
Let me tell you something. I went to the outlet. See, that's how I used to hit my lick. I used to go to the outlet because, see, in Georgia, in Atlanta, you got the polo store and you got the polo outlet. You might have to drive about an hour away, but all the stuff goes straight to the outlet. Baby, I used to go to that outlet. I used to take my little 2-week check and go to that outlet.
Over.
That was it. That was it.
So what did feminine look like for you? Because I imagine like you played sports but had like a feminine side. What did that mean for you? Because you were an athlete, but like most of the time when a guy is feminine, it's like, you know, he's like an artsy guy, or he's like people kind of assume that you're just gay because you have a feminine side. What did that look like for you?
So feminine looked like for me, I was also in orchestra. So I played in orchestra. That was my dad's doing because I wanted to be in the marching band. Drumline had came out. That's what I wanted to do.
Oh, I love drumline. I know every word to the movie.
Oh my God.
Top to bottom.
I love drumline, top to bottom, and we love a top and a bottom. Praise God. But when I was when I was in high school, I was in orchestra, and then like I always kept my haircut. I had to keep a haircut, no matter. My barber at the time, like he used to sell newspapers too, so he would go and do newspaper routes. And so if I had to go to him at 3 a.m. in the morning, I would go to him at 3 a.m. in the morning, get my haircut. So I would have my fresh haircut every 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. When I would go and visit my dad on the weekends, he would cut my hair. I would keep my nails clipped, keep my nails clean. I wasn't into, you know, getting my nails done then because I was still a kid. Mm-hmm. But and then I didn't dress femininely because at the time, you know, either my dad was buying my clothes or my mom was buying my clothes. And then when I got of age, when I had a job, my junior, senior year, then I was buying my clothes, but I was still, at the time, that was my style.
Yeah.
But once I got out of high school and went to college.
What up? It's your host, Ashley, and I'm interrupting this podcast to ask, are you following us? Have you downloaded the podcast? Are you subscribed to us on YouTube? If you're not already, go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on all platforms, Queerly Black. I'm going to let y'all get back to the show. Peace.
Baby, I had these high-waisted white Calvin Klein jeans.
Ooh.
And, you know, I've always been curvy. I had these I said, girl.
Milkshake bringing all the boys to the yard.
Yes, and they're like, it's better than yours. Okay? Damn right, it's better. And so, but like when I was in high school, I can't recall, like, only thing that was like, if you looked at me, I was just a regular old boy. But of course, I think my voice was always softer and elongated and calm and sweet. And, you know, my mannerisms was a particular way. So, you know, those things were definitely factors that gave my femininity off. And there were certain things that I wasn't going to do. Like, I did not like, I had a job at Kroger. They wanted me to go and round up them carts, and it was hot outside. And I was not trying to sweat. I wasn't doing it. I quit. So it wasn't happening. It was raining one day. They wanted me to put on that poncho. I avoided that part. I did. I avoided that one. But that day when it was hot, and I was like, y'all want me to go do what?
She can't do that. Can't do that.
She need her heat. We can't do that. Nope. So
not giving.
Not giving that.
So your style, it like evolved when you got to college. You kind of like branched out and did different things. Then your how femininity presented itself for you, that makes sense. When did you come out?
I came out my senior year of high school.
Oh, you did come out in high school. Okay.
Yeah, my senior year I came out. So my dad departed. He passed when I was 14. And so I had my mom, and at the time I was living with my favorite cousin. And so she was wanting to be a city girl before being a city girl was a city girl. So, you know, girl, she was trying to date all the rappers and be all in the places. And so she used to have this guy that used to come over our house, and he was a Kappa. And, you know, some Kappas and most Kappas, they clock you before you clock them. And so he had clocked me, and he used to always ask, like, so your cousin, like, is he, you know, what's what? And we were like 5 years apart. And so I didn't think nothing of it, but I was hanging out with my a friend who was a dancer. Like, he went to a performing arts school. Like, he was like a ballet dancer. So I mean, he's obviously gay. Like, it's right there in your face. And me, I was kind of like, yeah. And so one day she called me, and she was like, where you at? And I was like, oh, I'm over so-and-so house. You know, we just chilling or whatever. Why you always hanging around with boys? You don't never hang around with no girls. Every time I turn around, you with boys. Like, are you gay? Are you gay? Like, what's going on? And I said, well, if you need to know, I'm bisexual, because that's how I always start. I think that every boy, Black boy, always start out with bisexual, and then they either stay there or they go gay. And so I told her that, and I was like, and then I hung up on her, and I didn't go home. The following morning, I went to my mom's house. I skipped school. I went to my mom's house. And so I get over there, I pull up to her house, and she's like, what's going on, babe? So mind you, my mom was bisexual. So this shouldn't have even been, and she was masculine. So this shouldn't even been a thing, right? So I pull up to her house, and I'm like, Mama, I think I'm gay. I'm just falling tears, just crying. And so she looked at me, she was like, okay, you still gonna take me to Kroger real quick? Because I still need to go to the grocery store. And I said, yeah. And then so I dry my face, and then so as we're driving to the store, it's quiet, it's dead quiet, because I don't know what to say. I'm like, okay, so I don't know what acceptance feels like. I don't know what this is. Like, I don't understand. And so I feel her burning a hole in my face the entire time. And she was like, you know, I already knew for you. I've known for you. Your mother always knows, and it's okay. She said, once you really figure it out, then come back to me and tell me who you are. And I was like, okay. And so that's when I think in that moment is when I started to evolve. Like, I had an internship at a boutique at the time. So I was getting guidance from a woman who was so fashionable. So then my fashion sense started to evolve, and things that I liked started to evolve. My best friend was my now best friend was already out, and his uncle was gay, and he was with his partner. So it was like all around me were these affirmations of just be you. And so as I continued to grow, it was just like, well, girl, fall head first into it and just do your thing. And so that was my dad's family on the other side, like they are extremely conservative. My dad's family is from the country. My mom's family is from the city. So the city family, they already knew because my cousin was gonna run her mouth. But my countryside of the family, they were so conservative, and it's just like, okay, well, it's okay. So we love you anyway. So it's like always that thing. And so it's like, you know,
yeah, we don't agree, but we love you anyway.
Exactly. And then recently I just found out, because I had kind of like just stopped communicating with them, but I just found out last month I got 4 gay cousins.
It's always
3
more.
females and 1 guy. And I'm just like, girl. And then one of my cousins, my straight cousin, he was like, well, you know, you paved the way for everybody else.
I paved the way.
I said, not paved the way. I said, well, I'll take it. Let me be the pioneer.
You know what I'm saying? Like, somebody got to do it, because this is crazy. So you in did you go to school in Atlanta too? College?
Yeah. Yep.
So you're in Atlanta all year, like until recently, until you moved to Dallas.
Right. I've been in Dallas almost 6 years. Yeah.
So let's talk about something from Atlanta. Let's talk about Atlanta.
Yes.
DownLow men for a second.
Oh,
just describe your experience with that. Not in any extreme level of detail, but just the culture of DownLow men in Atlanta.
So I think that people don't realize that there are sectors of DL men when it comes to, Atlanta is like the mecca for LGBTQ folk in general, especially Black, or especially men of color, period. Whether you're Black, whether you're Latino, some people consider Asian to be of, color. And so like growing up or becoming a young adult, I will always attract DL men because I was feminine. I dressed femininely, and I always was like the best. Like, I had my first encounter, which was a very interesting one, was with this guy who had a wife, who had children, and he just wanted literally somebody that was like his homeboy, but like his homegirl at the same time. So we would chill, of course, we would have sex, and it would be fabulous. But like after we would get done, he would just literally just sit there and vent about you know, what's going on in his home and all of that stuff. But he was a straight man, which I believe is true, because I don't consider, and people argue me down with this, I don't consider a person to be gay if they have sex with the same sex. That's what society considers, but I don't consider. I just think that it's another way to get an orgasm. You know, that's just
really.
That's what I believe. I believe that when you feel like you can actually love the same sex, and that person just so happens to be the one that you would want to be with for the rest of your life, that considers you to be homosexual. That's what I believe, because I've had experiences with men who just only wanted to have sex with me and just chill and be a homeboy, you know? And then it's the same thing. I mean, when you got girls in college, you know, a girl can go and have sex with another girl, and then she could be straight tomorrow, you know? But it's always that double standard when it comes down to men, and Black gay men in particular. So you have that type of guy who just want to spend time with you. Then you have the guy who is struggling with his sexuality. I've experienced those, and those are the scarier ones, because it's like, when you have that type of man that's DL that you're dealing with, they want to receive all of you as if they were out and in a relationship with you. But we have to be careful, because a lot of times that's when it comes down to harm being done to us. You know, when it comes down to feminine gay men, when it comes down to trans women, some cases trans men. So we have to be cautious with that, because they have a mental blockage with figuring out who they are, right?
Yeah. So it's fight or flight when you're in a situation of danger. It's like you can never feel safe, because they're gonna always choose this, like, the safety of themselves before the safety of you as a collective in public. Yeah.
Absolutely, because you never know what that type of man. It really boils down to society not being receptive to us as a culture, us as a people, and us being a part of the Black community in general. You know, and it comes down to just them understanding that just because we choose to have sex with the same sex, that does not make us different from anybody else. Because at the end of the day, I'm gonna get the same state tax, I'm gonna get the same car that you're gonna get, I'm gonna get pulled over and get the same ticket. If I catch COVID, I'm gonna die the same way you do. So I mean, it's nothing different outside of how we choose to reach a sexual peak. And I think that once we get that breakdown and kind of translate that through the world, and people will get it more. But I mean, and then you have those guys who are just chauvinistic and just DL because they want their cake and eat it too. And they want to come eat my cake, and I'm going to let them eat it too. So, so I mean, you know, it's so many.
What up? It's your host, Ashley, and I'm interrupting this podcast to ask, are you following us? Have you downloaded the podcast? Are you subscribed to us on YouTube? If you're not already, go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on all platforms, Queerly Black. I'm going to let y'all get back to the show. Peace.
Different types. And then you have gay men who are DL. And then I actually did an interview at one point in time where somebody actually called me DL, who was also gay, because within the community, like, I don't personally like to tell people who I'm talking to or who I'm being sexual with. And so I keep that very on the DL, on the down, on the discreet level, even though I'm out, I'm this, I'm that. And what I put out into public is that I'm single, which I am single, but, you know, every now I do have people that I deal with.
You just don't claim people as like, you know, you're not like, oh yeah, you know, casual with like, you know, who you're talking to, which I mean, that's, you know, straight people do that all the time. Hell, you see people all the time, they be like, they get married and you be like, I didn't even know they was dating somebody.
Listen,
you know,
like,
so
you married.
Yeah, I remember Taraji Henson. She was like the football player dude that she just you know, they broke up during COVID or whatever, you know, like most people. But she, before coming out with him, she said, like, if we not getting married, like, I'm not going public with you. So like after that interview, I think that was on Wendy Williams. And then after that, like a whole bunch of guys came out talking about they talked to her because of her, like the way that she does it. So I mean, I think that's fine. On the subject of just like DL men, right? I think I've had another conversation about this, but I want to talk about that particular man because I think that's the one that the first one that's married and having sex with, you know, people is dangerous for sure. That's like, you know, that I think people have a challenge with. But then I think men who are gay, who are on the down low and don't want to be, they publicly talk about being with women or, you know, date women and like kind of have this whole facade of like, you know, I date women, you can't see me, but you don't like, or you like, I don't know what the relationship between you and the woman is, if it's sexual or not sexual, or if you just have that relationship, you know, as a front, but like, do you, what is your, like your take on that? Or like, do you know people who have kind of had that? And like, I think for me, the curiosity is just like the mindset of that person and like them, you know, where they are kind of in their journey of like figuring themselves out, you know?
Yeah, I believe that it always goes back to quite a few things. One is the heterosexual normative of how somebody is cooking the bacon and somebody's bringing home the bacon. That it always kind of has that thing there. When it comes down to those men, the world has made it so hard for men to love masculine women, for men to love feminine men, for men to love trans women, for men to love trans men. All those things that go against the norm of what we're used to seeing, and even people, even women or men that are of other races, because it's not acceptable in society. But it's kind of a double negative or a double standard because it's only for Black men.
Yeah.
Like when it comes down to if a Black man dates a white woman, it's like, oh my God, what is going, you know, it's always this thing. And it's like, no, it's just, he love that lady. Let him love that lady and let it be okay. When it comes down to a lot of DL men who are so afraid to come out and just say, hey, this is me. Whether you're bisexual, whether you are homosexual, whichever, it's always a situation of acceptance and respect, because a lot of men lose respect when they come out at a particular age and they're in a particular caliber. I know of a guy
or they feel like their masculinity is diminished because now they're, you know.
Yeah, now that you are this other person or this pariah, willingly you're this pariah. It puts you in this whole sector of, okay, now you're the problem, or now you're the thing that I don't like, or now you're icky, you're nasty, you're disgusting, you're all these negative things that are the negative connotations that come with being who you want to be and who you choose to be publicly. Because privately, internally, you already know who you are. It's just all about public. I know of a guy who was so scared to come out to his friends. Mind you, his family already knew. But it was his friends that he was so in fear of losing by coming out because they were his heterosexual friend group. Like he had his whole gay friend group that included women, men, and everybody was cool. But it was just like his homeboys that he was afraid of coming out to because he was a masculine guy. And so it's always that acceptance piece. Same thing that goes over into dating for us. Like when you have a masculine woman or a feminine man, it's always like it's always a particular type that wants us, or a particular type that is fetishizing, about who we are going to be in the bedroom. So it's like, I think that if we had more Ashleys of the world, more Ressie Gs of the world to kind of be on these big platforms to show that it's okay to be who you are and give another perspective. That's why I love your show. Like I was telling you, it's that gives room for people to see like, oh, okay, well, it's okay for me to be a man, wear mascara, and then go work in my Fortune 500 company that 100%. I love to do what I'm doing. You know, of course, be appropriate for your setting, but if this makes you feel good, then do it. And it's always society and the church and Black culture, and you know, like, because
it's tough. I mean, it is to like get to a place where you I didn't have like a super crazy like coming out story or nothing like that. I think, you know, mom and dad, they kind of just they kind of knew. We had the conversation, but it was like, all right, like whatever. And that was helpful because you can kind of work through a lot more of the stuff. And then you go into environments. I always say I just go in as myself. Like I'm just me. And I almost don't even see, like, if there's a reaction or anything, I don't even see it because I'm so set on just being myself. Like my hair is shaved on the sides. I got my braids. When I go to work, you know, I'm in leadership. But I know, first of all, my skill set is my skill set. You know my worth, right? Like, you know that I'm putting in work. What I look like does not matter. Like who I am, who I sleep with, none of that matters, you know, and going into those environments, those spaces like that, you know, with the confidence, like I'm not gonna shake on who I am because I don't want you to shake on who I am. You know, I don't want you to feel uncomfortable with, you know, calling me Ashley and saying that I'm a woman, even though I look a certain way. I don't want you to feel uncomfortable with like, oh, is it just because I wear a polo shirt and, you know, chino pants instead of a dress? Like, I don't want you to feel uncomfortable, you know? And so I think that as people grow, to your point, you know, and feel more comfortable with that, I think it will get better and it'll get easier for, you know, even our, you know, heterosexual counterparts to understand and to accept when we, you know, just are more confident in who we are as people. I think to wrap up the DL conversation, what are some signs that a person is on the down low?
I think that the signs are your intuition. If you feel like your man is on the down low, girl, he on the down low. Because women have a gift.
Seriously.
So women have an intuition that is like no other. I don't think that there's particularly one specific sign, but if you see things that are not usual, if your man is cheating, your man is cheating, period. And then you have to ask yourself, why is my man cheating? And if my man is cheating with a man, is there something that I can do to, you know, not make him do that?
Is there something she could do?
Yeah. At times, from my experience, sometimes men just need a little bit more adventurous ways to have sex, I think, and some women don't want to do that, you know. But I mean, and that's what kind of stops it a lot because they just don't want to do that. And sex is a big factor with a lot of men. I mean, but if it was any signs, like, girl, if you got your house and you know you got a cool cat and you see lube and you know y'all don't use lube, well, girl, some up, sis. Some up. Yeah, some up. If you starting to see if your man, it's just like cheating. It's just like cheating. If he all of a sudden got a homeboy that he always hanging out with, and you ain't never met the homeboy girlfriend, because like nowadays a lot of men have homeboys who are usually in relationships nowadays, especially since the pandemic. But then all of a sudden he got this homeboy that he done told you about that y'all always hanging out together and you ain't never met him. Girl, they might be doing some stuff. They might be breaking some souls together. So I mean, you know, it's just kind of, but usually whenever a woman says, okay, my man is cheating, girl, your man cheating. So you need to either do one or two things. Either you need to leave him or you need to figure out how to keep him. And if keeping him mean that he got to have an extra 5-6 inches down there, then girl, you can't offer that. So, you know, go ahead and go.
But do you think that if a woman was willing to, you know what I'm saying, go, you know what I'm saying, on the other side of the man, you know what I mean, that would eliminate the category of a person or a down low person who you classify as like not gay, but they just are interested in that particular thing? Do you feel like that will kind of eliminate some of that?
I do.
What up? It's your host, Ashley, and I'm interrupting this podcast to ask, are you following us? Have you downloaded the podcast? Are you subscribed to us on YouTube? If you're not already, go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on all platforms, Queerly Black. I'm going to let y'all get back to the show. Peace.
I do believe that if a woman is able to satisfy her man sexually in whichever way that he may want it, then it will keep him at home. But he has to have that level of security to know that you're not going to tell your homegirl, your sister, your cousin, brother, mama. And he has to be able to have that security to tell you, this is what I like. But a lot of men don't have that. A lot of men can't walk up to their wife, their girlfriend, and say, hey, babe, my G-spot is here. So can you use this to get to my G-spot so that I can have an orgasm when you have one? Because I done found yours several times, but you ain't never found mine. And I think that nowadays, a lot of men and women or heterosexual relationships are kind of getting into the mode of doing that. Because, you got there's a lot more women that's tossing salads nowadays. It's a lot more women that are, utilizing their fingers for other things. So, I think that we're getting to that point where it's not going to be so, like, for instance, like back in the 90s, it was like so taboo to find out that a woman was using their mouth on a man. And so it was like, oh, but now we're getting to a place where a lot of men are okay with saying that this is what they like. So, it's slow. But, a lot of factors come down to sex. But then you got those ones who just are attracted to masculine energy that they can't get from their feminine woman. So I actually know a man who is masculine and his girlfriend is masculine. She wears a fade. She dresses very butch. So and they've been together and they have a son. They've been together, I want to say maybe 7 or 8 years. And it just works for them. Yeah. But it all starts with the communication.
Yeah, absolutely.
All starts with communication.
Absolutely. What's been your experience dating as, a more feminine presenting guy? What's your, because you're, very much a man and, in touch with that part of you as well as being, feminine presenting. What's been your experience? Are people that have challenges with people, wanting to go public and like all of those types of things?
I think most recently the public thing has come about because I've become really popular in the YouTube world since I've been producing shows and been doing reality TV. So that was a thing. But before then, in Atlanta, it really wasn't like a big deal of, okay, of course you have like the no fats, no femmes thing. I've been real small, I've been bigger than this, and I've been this size. So, it's just all preference. But with me being feminine now as a real adult, I would say from age 25 to now, I found that a lot of men, I've become a fetish to a lot of men because I'm feminine, because I'm pretty. And then when they do finally approach me and then get to know me outside of, when I take off my makeup and, I want to watch the game or I want to play my PlayStation, or I just want to sit there and smoke my hookah or just chill and be like a boy, it's like, I didn't know you was like this. And I was like, yeah, I'm just me. This is to enhance my look. Right. This is not all of me. This is just one piece of me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it does make it hard to be, because a lot of people always try to put on feminine men that we're aggressive, but no, I'm just masculine that's feminine looking. Yeah, just a feminine looking man that just go for it. If I see a man over there that I like and we at the bar, I'm finna buy you. What are you drinking? I'm finna give you the finesse that you need. What you drinking? What you drinking, babe? What's up? Just like everybody else would. And then I'm gonna get you your drink and I'm gonna say, come talk to me for a minute. And then we're gonna have a conversation. And if it just so happens that we like each other, then we're gonna go out to dinner. I'll open your door. I'll let you open mine every now and then too. You know what I'm saying?
Which door you talking about?
Okay. Listen, okay. Whichever door it is.
You understand?
But it's like, I think that for me, it's like once men get to know me, that's when they really are kind of like yes or no. But I do give access nowadays for people to see my feminine side and my masculine side, especially dating, because now I'm putting myself back out there dating the last guy I dated, we dated for like about 10 months. And it was because I was popular, that was the biggest thing for him. Because I was popular and feminine, it was like he was getting reactions of, "Are you dating Ressie G?" Like the girl Ressie G. And then it was like, "Oh, you dating Ressie G?" Oh, it was that thing. And he hadn't grew to a level of understanding yet of what that means. So, I mean, of course, everybody would like to be in a relationship, but now I'm just looking for a guy that's gonna just, we finna run through these walls together and like break down every single obstacle to be successful together. Like we finna link up, we finna go get this, we finna go get this. We finna go get this bag, we finna go get this chick. And by the time we get to the house, we sleep, So that's kind of where my mind is at now.
Yeah, building and growing.
Mm-hmm.
How's the queer scene different in Atlanta versus Dallas?
I would say in Atlanta, you see a lot of me in Atlanta. You see a lot of visually feminine men. You can see two femme guys together in Atlanta. In Dallas, not so much. It's still very conservative. Even when it comes down to the gay scene, there's kind of like a hierarchy there, like a have and have not thing, a popular not, a cute not. So it's like always these different parameters of who you can date and who you can't date. And so, like for me, when I first got here, because I was the new chick on the block, the boys they was all in it, child. They was in it. I had my first one night stand here. I had never had a one night stand. Like when I say like a real traditional one night stand of I met you this night, we had sex, and I ain't never talked to you again type of thing. That had that for the first time, but like for me, it was more so just kind of getting to a level of understanding what type of men are moving around in these Dallas streets. And it goes back to what we was talking about earlier, because it's almost like there's a lot of DL gay men, because it's not about who you're dating for your happiness, it's about who you dating to see if your homeboy gonna be cool with it. Like I met a lot of guys that have told me privately, I don't know what my friends gonna think. And I told them it's not about what your friends gonna think. What you think? How you feel? What your mama gonna say if we in the kitchen both cooking peach cobbler together? She's gonna be happy. But I can't force you to be open to something that you're not open to yet.
Yeah, so, for sure. That judgment thing is like the biggest. It's like, what is somebody gonna say? And it's like, well,
especially when you're dealing with the Bible Belt.
Oh yeah.
Oh, girl. It's a thing. And then in the South. And I think it's all about proximity too. Because like, I feel like I'm in the South Midwest in Dallas. And then in Atlanta, that's the South. So, even when I moved here, people are like, "Oh my God, you so country." And I'm like, "I ain't country, honey. That's my Black Devereaux creeping up on you." So, it's all about proximity. Because I go to New York and it's a totally different feel.
Yeah, it's like you right in with the crew. We ain't it's no big deal. Yeah. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. I think, obviously I'm a fan of yours now. We recently connected, and I love what you're doing, and I think your style is super dope. Your fashion is super, super, super crazy. What talk about your businesses and like what you're doing now. I know you do productions. Talk about that.
Yeah, so I'm a producer by trade. Like I said, I used to be a fashion stylist. Now I'm a producer where I give the world LGBTQ content. So I created a show called Chasing Dallas. We did 3 seasons of that show. I've since departed from that company, and now I'm bringing a new show to Dallas called The Come Up Dallas, which is going to be kind of the same but different. It's going to be an ensemble cast for sure. I have a show called The Retreat, which is kind of like my version of a Iyanla Fix My Life type of thing, where I bring some people together that are having some mental health struggles, and I bring in a therapist to help them overcome those things in one house over a course of time. And then I also have the Gamble Group, which is my company where I'm your professional middleman. So whatever you need to do, wherever you need to get to when it comes down to branding, when it comes down to figuring out how to get this particular type of service for yourself, when it comes down to if you're trying to find a rental car, if you want to call me and hire me, we can find that for you. But my strongest thing right now is just making sure that I give space and opportunity to LGBTQ folk of color to grow and see, so we can see ourselves. Same thing that you're doing, just in a different way.
Yeah,
absolutely. So that's my thing with a Ressie G production. Every Ressie G production that I put out, I want to make sure that we give access to people that may not normally see us in that particular way, or because people think that gay folk are just the accessory, the purse to the straight woman. Mm-hmm. And I want to show a different side of that. Any and every opportunity I can get to do that. That's what I want to show.
Absolutely.
So that's why I started doing the show.
Yes, sir. We need more of that. Gotta have it.
Yeah. All right. And we'll get there. We'll get more. Get more. It just takes time.
Yeah, it's happening. It's happening. I also love just like, people being queer influencers, like that being the thing, right? Because while we're more than our sexuality, I think it's okay for you to be comfortable with that. Just it's okay. It's okay. We're gonna be okay. Now, granted, there are times where it's not. There are places where people live and in circumstances that people are in that are not safe. And if you're underage and you live with your parents, you got to do what you got to do to get by. Your grades in your school is the most important thing anyway. So focus on that. But if you are in a situation where you can be open and be out and be free, it's nice to see people who are already doing that you can like say, okay, I can feel confident to take this step. 2 more questions.
Yeah.
If you had a theme song for your life, what would it be?
If I had a theme song for my life, what would it be? It would be Butterfly by Mariah Carey.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. Butterfly by Mariah Carey, because like I've had to learn, especially over the course of the past couple of years, to love people from a distance. If they go away, then they'll come back. And I had to learn that I'm a butterfly. I think we all are butterflies, but it's that chrysalis stage that we have to understand. We can't let people peel the chrysalis back because it shortens our lifespan by giving us that crutch. So we gotta, climb up that tree as high as we can, find that right stable limb, get up there, build our crystals, and start kind of busting out as soon as we get the strength to do so. And then once we bust out that thing, we are beautiful. And so, yeah, that song has been getting me through it. So if you play that on repeat by a couple of times, you'll learn some more stuff about yourself.
Man, them songs be doing it. And if you had advice for somebody going through their own queer journey, what would it be?
If I had some advice for someone who's going through their own queer journey, I would say to be prepared for skint knees. Because we don't know how this world is going to treat us. We don't know how life is going to treat us. So just keep walking. Something is going to get in your way. You're going to trip, you're going to fall, and you're going to skin your knee. So just be prepared. Have your backpack that wisdom in the form of Band-Aid. Have your backpack those bandages in the form of inspiration, whether you take it from people that are close to you or from afar. I have a lot of mentors from afar. I call them like, the Oprahs of the world, the Tyler Perrys of the world, those people that I've pulled from. And just understand it's not an inconvenience, it's a journey. Because I would not, me being a queer individual has been the pinnacle of my life, because I didn't realize that being gay was a thing until I moved to Dallas. And in Dallas, I have grown so much because of who I choose to show the world, this type of me that I choose to show the world each and every time I get on a platform, I go to speak, I do a podcast, whatever it is. And I'm okay with it, and I don't give a hell about who doesn't like it, because one person may not like it, but 20 people may. And that's what we're here to do. We're here to continue to inspire people to get to that next level. And that's just it.
For real.
And that's on period.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well, tell the people where they can find you.
Yes, so you can find me on all social media platforms, Ressie G, that's RESSIEG, Twitter, Ressie G Tweet, Facebook, Ressie Gamble, that's my last name, Gamble, and Instagram, Ressie G. You can follow my new podcast that I'm producing with some people. You'll see that on my pages. And yeah, everything is just my name. You Google Ressie G and you see this beautiful face, which is me, okay?
There it is, baby. There it is. Well, thank you so much, Ressie, for coming through, sharing your story, chopping it up. We laughed. You crazy. You're crazy. I know that now for sure. And I appreciate you, man. Y'all, listen, if y'all not following us, follow us, Queerly Black. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, download the podcast. And y'all already know, man, I'm your host, Ashley. I'm going to catch y'all on the next one.